the Fanatics' own Morning King, John Kincade in Landview, Pennsylvania. We always like to check in with him whenever the Eagles or any of those other teams in Philly do well. And right now the Eagles are looking fantastic. And we've said on this show for 2 months they're going to play the Lions for the NFC title. And I still think it'll happen. I think Washington will give Detroit a game, but I didn't think that was a game yesterday, John. I thought Philly played great on defense as usual and handled their business.
I'm shocked, though, Scotty, that they didn't put up more than 22. Because at halftime, I put out a message to my followers, and I'm like, anyone else getting Penn State, Notre Dame vibes? Because they had dominated the first half, but yet to distance themselves. And Green Bay would have a chance. If Jordan Love stops throwing the ball to the opposite team, they could get back into that game. That never happened, by the way. So that was a lot of fun to watch.
He looked awful, but not as bad as Justin Herbert did.
Scotty, I remember some of those road trips with the Thrashers, and I mean, he was stumbling around, and I thought maybe it was a flashback to 1999.
Honestly, you can't play like that and win a playoff game. It's bad enough. We've sat here all day talking about my Steelers bending over for 5 weeks. They looked anemic. They were down 21-0. They were just awful. Their defense was awful. Their offense is stale and 3-and-out. I don't see those problems with Philly. Now, let's talk about Hurts. He came back from missing the games with the concussion, and he didn't have to really do that much. But when he ran, he was effective, and I thought Barkley did his usual great job.
The big key is this, Scotty. Think of it this way, is that Jalen Hurts, he's played in 15 and a half of the games that they've played this year. He has as many interceptions in 15 and a half games as Jared Goff threw in 51 minutes of one game. So what they've been asking Jalen Hurts to do is exactly what you just said. Don't do too much. You don't have to do too much. You have Saquon Barkley. You got a great offensive line. Just don't turn the ball over. And they have set that at a premium, and it's worked. But, of course, everybody was going nuts this morning saying, well, why didn't Hurts throw for 250 and everything like that? And it's like, because they don't have to. And they don't put the ball in harm's way. And I think that'll probably be very important this week, depending on who they end up playing.
Listen, you make all the sense in the world every day when you're on the air. None of those fans in that town make sense at all effing ever. Like, they are nuts. Like, they are the dumbest, wildest drunks, fat asses. They boo Santa Claus. Listening to them complain is like having 5 ex-wives. I mean, honest to Christ. You make sense. They don't. I don't care what they say to you. I care about what you think about the teams in Philly. I don't care a lick about what they think because they're all a bunch of idiots. And you can tell them I said so.
Well, the thing is, Philadelphia is a real thing, so they're not going to be happy if I deliver that message, even though you are still a beloved son of the city. I'll tell you this, guy. One thing that I know is, here's what they all unite on: the defensive side of the ball. It's as if everybody's on the same page. Everybody in this town loves defense, and they love in the secondary, the exciting whites are the biggest thing in town. That's one of the biggest T-shirt sales right now in Philly with Reed Blankenship and, of course, Cooper DeJean, who is setting the town on fire. And again, 4 more turnovers yesterday. This team has become a stampede of that in the last 2 months. And I don't think there's a better team than them in the NFC, but I certainly think if they end up having to go to Detroit, that'll be a hell of a tough time trying to get that done.
I think their defense is better than Detroit's, but I don't think I don't think their offense is better. I think it'll be a great game. It'll be a great offense against a great defense. Something has to give. Talk about DeJean and about Q. I think they're special players.
I can't believe the way Howie Roseman rebuilt such a part of the core of the secondary in one draft and was able to do it. And it just shows where, like, Dallas in their own division and the Giants have been such fools for years. And then, sorry about that to the New York listeners, because I know you got a lot of fans there. But it's the truth, is Howie manages to go, they find Zach Baun off the scrap heap as a special teams guy in New Orleans. He ends up a Pro Bowler. And then you end up getting 2 guys in the draft with your first 2 picks and the first 40 players, and they end up being starters and tremendous. This Eagles team, that's the youngest defense in football, Scotty. Youngest defense, and they were number 1 this year. That tells you all you need to know. They're going to be good for a while. That leaves the Eagles a little flexibility this offseason after the parade. That way they can worry about that stuff after the parade.
The parade, he's already got plans. So I think that the Vikings or Rams, and I think the Vikings are better.
You do.
because of their defense.
I think
let's see if they can handle their business. Either team plays Philly, they're losing.
So you've already written that in as a loss. Who do you think gives them the better game next Sunday? Because, by the way, I know you're a man who speaks the truth. The fact that somebody has to play Monday Night Football during Wild Card Weekend, that sucks. That's unfair. It's unfair that the Eagles have been sitting around and get to sit at home, and their opponent is playing tonight, flies home overnight, if it's Minnesota. And even if it's the Rams, they got to go back to L.A., try to get situated on a short week to then fly cross-country over to Philly. I think the NFL scheduling stinks, even though it's going to work to the Eagles' advantage this week.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue with any of that. I just know that, let's say none of that was happening, and they were just playing the winner of this game on a normal playoff. They win either way. They're just that defense is not losing to either of those teams. I think the Rams have a good quarterback and great receivers. I think the Vikings have a spectacular defense like the Eagles, and I think it'll be a good game. But they're not winning at the Link. They have stripper poles on trucks and free brisket. No one is winning at that place.
I think that's fair. We had Matt Ryan on the show last week from CBS, and Matt said the same thing, is that how many games have to go through Philly? And if the 2 that have to go through Philly, you're pretty much almost penciling them in as wins. But look, Detroit's going to be a fun battle if that happens. You don't think the Commanders have any juice, or you think if they have juice to give them a game? But not to win
I bet on the Commanders last night, and I hit 4 to 5 games. The only one I got wrong was the Chargers. But I think the Commanders are going to give Detroit a game like the Buccaneers did last year. They had the ball with a chance to win, and Baker threw the pick. I think Jake Daniels, obviously, is one of the most exciting players in the NFL, and he beat Baker last night. That was the only good game of the lot, and I thought it was fantastic. I think they'll give him a game, and I think they'll lose. And I think it's Detroit and Philly for the world. And the winner's going to the Super Bowl, and that's all there is to it. I think they're at a disadvantage having to go to Ford Field, but they're used to – I think Philly can win there. I don't know if I'm ready to throw them the game yet. I still have to see what the line is, everything else. But I've said for 2 months that it's going to happen. I said for a month that Notre Dame and Ohio State would play for the national championship. Carver High and I both agreed on both of those things. And they have.
That's impressive.
Let me ask you a question. The new Flyers arena that's going to open up or whatever in 2031. Tell me about that.
Okay. So what they decided to do is, the stadium complex in Philly, where we have the basketball and hockey. They're going to build on the same sort of footprint. They're going to build a brand new arena for the Flyers and the Sixers that they're going to share. And here's the story that's going to come out next. Scotty, you're going to hear within the next 6 months to a year that Jeffrey Lurie's building a new stadium too. And they're going to build a new – yes, I'm telling you that there's going to be a brand new complex. They're going to add 2 new hotels, restaurants, things like that, and they're going to make it even bigger and badass than ever. It's the best stadium complex in America.
I love parking illegally in Philly and going to the Link incognito. It's one of my favorite things to do, and I keep my mouth shut so no one punches me in the mouth and knocks all my teeth out. Good luck this week.
Yes.
Women as well are dangerous in Philly. Good luck this week, John. Always good to see you, brother. Happy New Year.